physical horrors of Camorra behind them. A long and arduous journey possible only with the help of a Xenos guide lay ahead for the rogue trader and her party. From one strange destination to the next, through unknowable environments, the mere sight of which could drive one to madness.
My god, some Cthulhu shit.
Despite the challenges, they managed to escape the labyrinthian webway and find their way back. Home?
Why do you say home like that? What happened to home? How long have I been gone? Hey, the sun's still shining. Old man. A poorly shaved commoner in worn coveralls eyes you with suspicion. He's clutching an autogun that looks like it's one careless reload away from falling apart. The man narrows his eyes and inquires, "Oi! Who are you lot? You're not bandits, are you?" Upon noticing a non-human in your retinue, the old man grimaces with contempt and clutches the aquila hanging from around his neck. "And chumming around with this inhuman scum, no less. Begone, you lanky freak! I compel you with Saint Cognatius's name, with Saint Nicomedes Keefe's name, with Saint Drusus's name." Eklindel casts a weary eye over the commoner and inquires quietly, "Is this monkey possessed or simply mad?" "I am the mistress of this planet, Imogene von Valancius, and I require something of you." Who am I, you ask? I am Rogue Trader von Valancius. On your knees, knave, while you still have them. As well as I can now call myself an interdimensional traveler. Just who might you be? And just who might you be? I'm clearly neither bandit nor Xenos. Can you say the same, you... The man squints his weak eyes and finally realizes who is standing before him. He collapses to his knees with a whiny grimace and wails, "Blessed throne! Mercy, your ladyship, have mercy! Blasted old eyes didn't recognize you. I'm just a low-born, small, humble man. I've only ever seen your lustrous visage on the holy icons in the temple of the capital." "So, who are you? What did the people of Janus say about my abduction?" "Janus. How are things in the colony? Is the governor well? I need a shuttle." "So, who are you?" "I'm a scout, your ladyship. I wander the woods, I test the soil." Taking great care, the old man reaches into the sack and pulls out a scratched auspex with a long spike, wrapped in a muddy rag. "The tech priest told me. Once 1,000 steps you have walked, thrust the mystical probe into the soil, say a prayer, then press the smaragdine seal. Offer 3 prayers to the emperor, then press the ruby seal. Thus will the probe test the land and tell you what minerals dwell therein." "What did the people of Janus say about my abduction?" The man gives you a puzzled look. "Was it? Did some rotter abduct you? Who could perpetrate such villainy? Stealing her ladyship, the nerve! We ain't heard nothing here on old Janus." "How are things in the colony?" "I won't shame myself by complaining. We live, thanks be to the God Emperor and your ladyship. We pray for your health every day. Our good masters, the wise magi, they take care of us. Every month we give them a drop of blood as payment for protecting us, and they use it to brew potions that can detect freaks. We do whatever mystical tasks they require of us, and for that, the Magi order the irrigation facilities to yield twice as much." His expression darkens. "There's this plague going around Janus, though. Makes your hair fall out, your skin go pale, and your voice disappear. Turns average emperor-fearing people into right freaks, scum of humanity. We call folks like that wretches. Scary to look at, better to put them all down. Well, we do, little by little, with poison." "Is the governor well?" "Can't say I have the froggiest. We've never even heard the governor's name. But it still beats living under that accursed heretic Vistenza the Bloodsucker. Need a shuttle." "In a jiffy, your ladyship. Please be welcome to our flying ferry. It's right over yonder, in the brush. It's also where our expedition's Vox Wizard is staying." Eklindel shoots you a keen look and asks coldly, "Will your capital offer protection?" I do not wish to be changing one prison for another. The old man glances at the Farseer suspiciously. Well, will that chatty mug be flying to the capital with you, your ladyship? He's got an awful big mouth. He looks like trouble. Yes, the Xenos is coming with me as my guest. Shackle the Xenos and keep him imprisoned until my ship arrives. Kill the Farseer. This one? He is of no more use to me. Ooh, my first instinct is to kill him. I feel like after our experiences, we've been pretty radicalized against the Xenos, but he did help us. He is the reason we escaped. Shackle the Xenos and keep him imprisoned until my ship arrives. Will do, your ladyship. Can't let scum like him walk free. He eagerly points his weapon at the Farseer. The monkey turned out to be a traitor. How shocking. Oi, keep your wisecracks to yourself. If I hear you badmouth her ladyship, I'll shoot your floppers clean off. Yeah, I mean, after or yet, we can't risk it. Like, it'd be stupid of me. Right? I don't know. Maybe... Can't judge them all to be alike, right? Not all Xenos are the same. But the one we gave a chance to did betray us. Like, I don't know. Oh, man. I suppose he could have betrayed us on his way here, right? He could have dropped us off somewhere else and just left. I don't know. Ah, back home. No idea what happened to Marizai. High Factotum Janris Danrock. The high-ranking officers beam with genuine happiness. Danrock steps forward and solemnly says, "Welcome to the bridge, Lord Captain. Like the rest of the crew, we are overjoyed by your return and thank the Emperor for it." The crew stares in awe and terror at the giant towering over the crowd. Some make the sign of the Aquila on their chests. Others collapse to their knees with a prayer to the God Emperor on their lips. The wave of pious shock does not seem to decompose Ulfar in the slightest. He just chuckles into his beard and glances around curiously. "Shireen! Light of my eyes, I am overjoyed to see you among us once more. Truly, the Exalted One is merciful for showing you the way back home. I hope all the Ashmags who left us to languish without our Lord Captain have already become food for the warp demons." Sister Argenta greets you with burning eyes. "Welcome back, rogue traitor. No trial could break the will of the Emperor's chosen or stop her from returning to those who have put their hopes in her." First off, how much do you know about my abduction? Where was my ship all this time? Enough empty talk. Your mistress is waiting for a proper celebration. That is quite enough fawning and fussing. I wish to return to my duties immediately. How much do you know of my abduction? Not much, Lord Captain. All contact with your party was lost shortly after the supposed pirates boarded the ship and abducted your companion's kinspeople. We immediately sent shuttles with boarding parties to your aid, but we didn't find anyone on the ship save for the crew, who had all either been butchered or driven insane. Since your ladyship's body was never recovered, we hoped, against hope, that you were still alive. Alas, even our most alert augur operators never spotted anything suspicious, and thus our ignominious failure put you in dire peril. Dare we inquire what happened to your ladyship? Earlier it helped the Drukari abduct me and take me to Komorag. I'm glad you realize you are to blame for my capture. You have not earned the right to hear about my adventures. Lie. My loyal servants, the accursed Xenos tried to take your leader from you, but their plan has failed. I am once again with you. Are you with me? It doesn't matter. Earlier it helped the Drukari abduct me. The officers erupt into indignant shouts, promising death to any treacherous Xenos that crosses their path. Raver shakes his head. Xenos have no souls and no conscience. They are dishonorable degenerates and traitors by their very nature. Where is my ship all this time? At an officers' council, we decided to take the ship to Footfall, where one can hear the gossip of the entire expanse. Our agents tirelessly search for information about your ladyship. Had we heard even a whisper of where you were imprisoned, we would have immediately launched a rescue expedition. While you were away, Lord Captain, we took every effort to find you. That resulted in a number of modifications to the ship that have significantly upgraded it. Thanks to a favorable deal made by the esteemed High Factotum, the ship is now equipped with state-of-the-art auger systems and direction finders from Kiava Gamma. There's quite enough fawning and fussing. I wish to return to my duties immediately. The group of servitors suddenly stirs, their movements frighteningly identical even for automatons. They stare at you and say in perfect unison, "Hello. Nomos have come to welcome you back. We sense that a great deed has been done, a vivid imprint on existence. You did something very important. What was it?" "I escaped from a dark city of the Xenos and showed them mercy." "Did I?" "It suits you. What we see in you, light and connections without the urge to destroy." Did Nomos say it correctly? The servitor chorus, which sounds as a single voice, falls silent. Nomos appears to be waiting for your response in eager anticipation. "I'm glad that you are learning to understand me, Nomos. Your curiosity deserves approval. A servant should strive to understand their mistress. Your pointless questions are not worthy of my time. I'm glad that you're learning to understand me." After a long pause, the servitor chorus responds with unexpected forcefulness. "Nomos are glad too. We must go now. We will come to speak with you later." Another pause follows, so long that the silence becomes more piercing than a scream. Then the servitor finally breaks it. "We felt sadness when we could no longer communicate with you, and we were worried about your fate." One can detect with the naked eye the moment when Nomos leaves the bridge. The servitors stop moving and sink, and slowly shuffle off to their posts. "Imogene, we need to talk. When we were in Komora, that's it, Komora. We were together." Harmix hesitates. "I wasn't thinking rationally. I was putting my own desires ahead of my duty. I suppose I was counting on never getting out of that place alive. What I'm trying to say is, if the Lord Captain believes that overly close contact with an agent of the Inquisition will have a detrimental effect on her reputation and jeopardize her image as the God Emperor's chosen, I will respectfully accept her decision." "Are you trying to end things with me?" Leaning close to him, trying to play the buttoned-up interrogator again after what happened in Komora. "It won't work. I insist on overly close contact, Master Von Calyx. You're right. It's time to end this." "Nope, I insist." Hamrick's face brightens. "Thank you for your answer, Lord Captain. Hope we will find a time soon to discuss it in a more private setting." Everybody wants to talk to me. Hello. These last 2 episodes are going to be long. "Your Ladyship, I must report highly compromising information about a member of your retinue, namely Mistress J. Hidari, who it turns out is nothing of the sort, but a commoner, a fugitive from the law, and a deserter from the Imperial Guard. I have solid evidence to prove it. This evidence had better be incontrovertible. I want to know the details. How did you come to know this?" "I see J. Hidari. We have something to discuss. Drop this, Danrick. Forget about what you know. Tell me the details." "I may have overlooked some nuances, but I have solid evidence that the person whom we presently know as J. Hidari served in the 19th Efreet Regiment and was identified as the perpetrator of numerous instances of theft, smuggling, as well as desertion. And this individual is not of noble birth, but of the lowest origins. This evidence better be good." The factotum bows and holds out a data slate to you. "It's all here, Your Ladyship. Official records from the Administratum. Attestations from the Departamento Munitorum, and much more besides." "How did you come to know this?" "In Your Ladyship's absence, the burden of watching over the dynasty's treasury fell upon my shoulders. I deemed J. Hidari the likeliest threat to the dynasty's material security. I had my people conduct an investigation, and they uncovered a past connection between Hidari and an individual by the name of Mercy, a highly influential figure in the Kazbalika mission, with a dangerous reputation. Fearing that the predatory interests of the Kazbalika would pose a threat to your coffers, I began my own investigation. It was entirely reasonable to suspect collusion of some kind between Haydari and Mercy, and so my suspicions were confirmed, and the two were connected. It was from Mercy's associates that I acquired the compromising intelligence on Haydari. I wish to see her. They're really just giving me no time to rest, huh? Shopped me, did you, you little wannabe quister? Jay's voice and bearing undergo a stark transformation. Biting soldier slang cuts through her typical gentle speech. Don't miss a thing, you servants. Your servants, Imogene. And they're sneaky as too. They'll climb up at Grox's arse to find out what they want to know. Let's talk about your past. Only if this scum slings his hook. Jay nods at the now much paler Danrock.
Well, your ladyship, ask away. I'll tell it like it is. I'm not going to try to wriggle out of it.
Alright. I'm actually running low on time. Can I save right here? No, damn it. So tell me your real story. Who is this Mercy that Danrock has accused you of associating with about your new persona? Tell me your story.
So what do you want to hear, Shireen? A children's tale about a beautiful princess? A ballad about a queen of thieves? How about a new story, Shireen? Once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived on a sand-covered lump of rock. And the core of that rock contained untold riches for servants of the Imperium. The girl scraped out those riches with her little hands, breaking her back and coughing up her lungs, on behalf of people who had never clapped eyes upon her, and who would never know her name. She did this every day until she turned 16. And then his servants came and drafted the girl into the 19th Ifrit Regiment. Can you imagine? Of course, the regiment was wiped out on its first sortie. But the girl survived. The Exalted One protects. So what was next? Years serving in the Astra Militarum, just a shitload of hard labor, and fighting, and deals, and shady connections, and new opportunities. But everything in this world ends sooner or later, Shireen. The now not-so-little girl went and fell in with the Kasbalika. She saved up a little gold, and she even indulged in excess from time to time. Until living the good life almost cost the little girl her head after her patrons got caught in an internal investigation between the Officio Prefectus and Departamento Munitorum. So the girl ran as fast as her little legs could carry her, until her eyes and the beams of fortune brought her to the expanse. A shitty story, all things considered, Shireen.
I knew you were no princess. Do you have a family? So you used to be in the Imperial Guard? So where did you learn to read and write? Is Jay your real name, at least? Was there anything you did not lie to me about, Jay? I can just kill her. Okay. I knew you weren't a princess.
Oh, really, Shireen? And there I thought you were quite ready to believe my time-honed thespian performance.
Do you have a family?
The folks on Footfall are my only family, Shireen. The trickster twins and the rest of the rabble, plain-talking and loyal as dogs. And sometimes as dull as the pommel of a worn-out blade.
So you used to be in the Imperial Guard?
Corporal Haydari reporting for duty, ma'am. I've had enough of the Astra Militarum shit to last a lifetime, Shireen. And my body's collected enough souvenirs from run-ins with Xenos and heretics to last 2 lifetimes. Except when it comes to the Guard, there's no such thing as used to be. That wretched life sank its claws into me good. But that also means I remember what it's like to be a small, shaking, insignificant pawn. And that's why I appreciate what I have now, all the more.
How'd you get involved with the Kasbalika?
What? You think it's difficult? Once me and my fellow guardsmen snuck into the upper city in search of a good watering hole, where the high and mighty of that world congregated. Another time, our regiment was sent to defend the tallest spires on a hive world. And I had an epiphany. I saw how the other half lives. And by half, I mean the ones born with a diamond spoon in their mouth, instead of an entrenching shovel rammed up their arse. My eyes were open to the truth, Shireen. The Imperium is full of opportunities, even for people like myself. The trick is knowing whose palms to grease, whose boots to lick, whose throats to squeeze, and whose arses to kick. I was very popular with everyone in the guard command, you see. I'd procure things for them, whatever they wanted. And so the Kasbalika took notice.
So you're a deserter as well.
You know, Shireen, I could still be bouncing around from one world to another, holed up on tired old ships with only venal grunts for company, if I hadn't decided I wanted more for my life. I accepted a shipment from the Kasbalika of certain chemicals. You know, for carnal pleasures and the like. Some bigwig was throwing a party to celebrate his 5th decade in the service. And that's when I caught the attention of the newly arrived commissar. I was rummaging through the pockets of Astra Militarum with one hand and shoveling the Kasbalikan cargo with the other. You can imagine what would have happened to my head had the commissar not started with my higher-ranked patrons.
Jay draws a thumb across her metallic throat and chuckles bitterly. Explains the lung, but not the hand.
It was orcs. Not everything I say is a lie, Shireen.
I see.
Whoop the fu- Never mind.
Who is this Mercy that Denmark has accused you of associating with?
We knew each other once. He helped me make the move to the Expanse and establish my first connections. But that's an old story I prefer not to poke at if I can help it. Things are good in my life now, and I don't need mercy.
About your new persona.
Are you worried I'm going to start spitting on the deck and shriveling your officers' ears with my foul tongue? Don't be, Shireen. I much prefer being seen as a princess rather than a deserter. I'll continue to play the part in front of the others, but you wanted to talk frankly, so I've dropped the act.
I think we've covered everything. Return to your duties.
Sir, yes, sir, your ladyship, Shireen. I'll be here, all primed and ready to go.
Jay's lips curve into a faint smile now that the seal of silence that has shackled them for years has finally been broken. Yeah. I'm glad to know, but, it's fine. Denmark adjusts his jacket before addressing you. Now then, Lord Captain, shall we get to business? We have a number of items to go over. Dude. Oh my god. The Expanse is in flames, your ladyship. Squadrons and smaller groups of despicable Drakari raid our system. The cult of the Final Dawn has emerged in full force, wreaking havoc everywhere. We've heard rumors of the fall of Sentiel's pride, House Corda's world. An outrageous sacrilege, given how abundant and inexpensive Promethium is there. Strife has broken out between House Winterscale and House Corda. Chaos reigns everywhere. Only the esteemed Lord Inquisitor is trying to fight it, concentrating all available forces at Footfall to tighten them into a fist to smash the rampaging heretics and Xenos vermin. What kind of Xenos are attacking the Expanse? Drakari, your ladyship. Their squadrons, both large and small, are invading the Expanse, unleashing carnage on planets, taking captives by the thousands, and attacking ships. It is as if something has poked their nest, if you will, and now they are lashing out. Yeah, that would be me. How fare the worlds of my dynasty? The heretics' malicious acts make it difficult to maintain astropathic contact with the colonies. The cult of the Final Dawn strikes everywhere, and their sleeper agents are active on every planet. On Vabo 6, a mutiny was crushed after a group of newly arrived prisoners succumbed to blasphemous propaganda, but other worlds stand firm against the onslaught of the enemies of humanity and do not succumb to the pernicious influence. Xavier led the defense? Exactly. The esteemed Lord Inquisitor Calcazar declared himself commander of the Coronis Expanse, or commandant, and issued orders to requisition troops. He made Footfall his base of operations, as it was the most logistically convenient point. From there, his fleet strikes through the Expanse, destroying the forces of the Cult of Final Dawn and the abominable Drakari. He may be all that currently stands in the way of the Expanse being turned into ashes. When heretics laid siege to Euphrates II, a hallowed forge of the Cognizance fleet, the Lord Inquisitor sent an enormous force. Now they and the Explorator squadrons recalled from the front lines stand together against the heretics in the battle for the sacred planet. Man, so there's war going on outside, basically. What was the problem between Incendia and Caligos? When the esteemed Lord Inquisitor called upon the rogue traders to join his forces, her ladyship Insignia Corda heeded the summons, while his lordship Caligos Winterscale ignored it. Rumor has it that his refusal was defiant in manner, and served as a pretext for Lady Corda to declare war on House Winterscale. Winterscale's ships are being hunted and his worlds occupied under the pretense of compelling them to submit to the Imperial Creed. Surprisingly, for all his love of fighting, Winterscale is in no hurry to defend his domain. According to intercepted astropathic messages, he and his retinue are currently on Quetzaltemur, hunting down a Xenos fleet, Aldari by all appearances. Anything else? He lowers his head in thought. There have been other minor developments, if you wish. I will gladly bring you up to speed on the bridge. I would not want them to take any time away from this occasion. Thank you. Report received. Lord Captain, Abelard bows his head. Allow me to make a request, a personal one. While you were away, Zachary Weiss received an astropathic message from Darganas. It concerns my family. The Versarians have been accused of betraying House von Valantius. What? How is that possible? Your family have shown their true colors. How is that possible? I cannot comprehend it. The Seneschal shakes his head ruefully. The Versarians have served the Rogue Trader dynasty loyally for generations. This is hard to admit, but I am simply crushed by the news. The accusations were leveled by, on behalf of, the Drivestems, the Governor family. Under normal circumstances, the investigation would not have required your involvement, and my entire family would have been... But being of noble stock, the Versarians are entitled under an ancient custom to petition for a Rogue Trader's personal protection once in a generation. Your personal protection, Lord Captain. Abelard raises his eyes at you. Do not deny us that honor, I implore you. Abelard, what if your family is guilty? Tell Zachary Weiss to send a message to Ghana saying I will personally take part in this investigation. I'm sorry, Abelard. I deny the Versarians my protection. I'll take part. I don't care if they are guilty. Even if they are, I'm going to pardon him because Abelard got us out of hell. All right? He deserves it. Abelard breathes a sigh of relief and seems to grow an inch or two taller. Will do, Lord Captain. All right, what me and Abelard went through deserves a pardon. All right, dude. Let's hurry it up. I got things to do. Imogene. Heinrichs gives you a curt nod in greeting. I apologize for barging in unannounced. I've received news that I must discuss with you face to face. You may recall that I mentioned that Achilles Scalander was transferred into my remit by a colleague. The colleague in question has contacted me. She requires my immediate assistance. Who is this colleague? How did you circumvent me and acquire the information? Yeah. Who? Heinrichs hesitates for a moment before answering. Emelina Lenktart, Sage of the Lord Inquisitor. Tell me more. Who is she? An acolyte who is assigned a different range of objectives in the Karanis Expanse. He trails off and shakes his head. Don't take me. I'm still trying to hide information from you, even when I'm asking for your help. She is a sage, a unique acolyte of the Inquisition who can absorb huge amounts of knowledge and store it in her own memory more securely than any data crypt. She entered the Lord Inquisitor's retinue before even I did. Talking to her is a strange experience, for that is barely scratching the surface of who she is. She is an incredible scholar, an expert on the forbidden and the illicit, and of course she is a loyal servant of the Golden Throne. You say talking to her is a strange experience. What does that mean? He locks his fingers and says nothing for a few seconds. Since birth, she has been different from other people. Specialists from the Inquisition enhanced her natural gift of hypermnesia. There are certain procedures that can be done. She creates separate blocks of memory, which she can then lock under a code word, or even overwrite with new information. She can organize her mind like a normal person, arranges boxes on shelves. One box might contain information about a recent mission in the Calixis, another the latest decrees of the Lex Imperialis, and another her own childhood memories. This level of compartmentalization might seem somewhat insane to the untrained eye, but it is the price one must pay to turn an ordinary servant into a useful tool of the Imperium, or Inquisition. You said the forbidden and illicit. What does that mean? She carries knowledge that is forbidden to common servants of the Imperium. She carries this knowledge within herself, as it cannot be entrusted to logs or cogitators. I said before that acolytes of the Inquisition must shoulder a heavy burden to come into contact with things that can penetrate and corrupt the soul. For sages, this is an especially trying ordeal. She is hypermnesia, has been enhanced so that she now remembers everything she sees, however briefly. After many years of service, she has examined and seen enough to become an unrivaled expert in this field. You speak of her with obvious affection. His eyebrows lift. She is a worthy acolyte and an invaluable tool in the Inquisition's arsenal. I admire her traits and talents. You failed to mention that Cogswell had other agents operating in the Expanse. I didn't fail to mention I deliberately concealed the information. Divulging the location of the Inquisition's agents could threaten not only the acolytes themselves, but also the results of their endeavors. What was her message? Her message is incomplete and distorted. It is impossible to make sense of every word. The only thing we know for certain is that an acolyte of the Inquisition is asking me to go immediately to Phthon 4, a remote planet. In her message, she seems to be requesting either military support or help with an evacuation. But whatever precipitated this request, she would not make it if it was not absolutely necessary. I know a rogue trader has more than enough matters to deal with. Nevertheless, I would like to officially request the Lord Captain's assistance in dealing with this issue. I have no authority to demand anything from the House von Valancius, therefore I am confining myself to a request for the sake of the Kronos Expanse and the Imperium. Is there any hint of what exactly is threatening that? If I help, what do I get out of it? Are you certain you're asking for my help for the sake of the Imperium and not because of one of your own is in trouble? I shall help you. Yeah, this is the only one I need to know. Is there any hint of what is threatening it? He says nothing for a time, then begins to speak, slowly, as though he is fighting against resistance. For the avoidance of leaks, the details of the objectives of specific acolytes shall remain secret. All I can tell you is that the primary threat she is dealing with is in the Kronos Expanse with Xenos. In particular, Jakari raids on distant systems. A sage is ideally suited for gathering data about the chronology of this problem and finding appropriate methods of combating it. As for what she is doing on the planet specifically, I don't know. I don't even know any details of the world itself, only that there are humans there, so either it has been colonized or a garrison has been established there. The cult of the Final Dawn has been my top priority here. My investigation has given me no cause to turn my attention to that planet. Yep, I'll help you. Yep. He bows. Thank you, Lord Captain. I am confident that the minor deviation from our primary course will help to stem the spread of anarchy in the Kronos Expanse. If only slightly, at the very least, we won't be outflanked. I've already spoken to the navigation crew and provided them with coordinates. We can set out whenever you want. All right. That's going to be it for this episode, guys. I'm sorry that I kind of rushed the end there. It was really good. I really like the resolution, except Marazai. I am super, super annoyed that it bugged out and he's apparently not here. I guess we're just going to pretend we left them back there. I mean, that's all I can really do unless I want to replay all that again, which I really wouldn't mind, but I do kind of like the idea that we left them. But, yeah. Until the next episode, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you later.